Barbecue and Bolts is sponsored by Baxter's Original Barbecue and Hot Sauces.
For all red-blooded gearheads who love their RPMs high and their barbecue smoking. Welcome to Barbecue and Bolts, where we dig into cars of all kinds, from beaters to burners, and then trade the grease in our nails for barbecue sauce, beer, and good friends. Hang on, cause you're riding shotgun with Barbecue and Bolts.
So back in 2012, I owned the ultimate vehicle. A 2004 modded out 6-liter, 475 horsepower Ford Excursion. Now this video actually got me onto the Roadkill Nation Challenge. Also has about 158,000 views on YouTube. Now Excursions were made between 2000 and 2005. One of the only SUV diesels in the American market to ever be made.
Those damn hicks! What are they doing?
And then we moved to New Zealand for 5 years from Bend, Oregon, and had to sell the truck. And that was fun for a little while, but eventually the honeymoon was over, so we got back to the USA. Picked up 2000 limited Ford Excursion 4-wheel drive with 215,000 miles on it. Now the diesel Excursions go for $20 grand, but you can get the V10 gas version of these things for like $5,500. And you can fit your whole family and you can go anywhere in them. So I got the V10. This was leaking radiator fluid, but it was behind the block. We broke down right next to a mechanic shop and they wanted to charge us $1,000 to fix it. And it wouldn't be ready until next week. And I couldn't do that. We only had one car, so we towed it to my brother-in-law's house and fixed it for literally $100. The leak was back there. It has a leak under here, and it's leaking off the muffler onto the ground. Just a slow drip. I'm not sure why it's dripping. I think it's underneath here. There's a water pump and there's a metal pipe that runs underneath all the way to the back, and it goes back out to the heater hose. And what I heard was back there a little psst sound. So hopefully we don't have to tear this whole thing apart, but we probably will. First, we're going to put water in it. Okay, so we just poured a bunch of fluid in the radiator. Oh. Wow, that's really pouring out. Alright, so we got a giant leak somewhere. Right up there in the very far reaches of it. You see it dribbling down way up there. Okay, so I laid down on the engine, got my hand back there, and the coolant, it is a coolant, and there's a metal pipe way back there, and it connects to right here. So this tube connects to the heater, and I believe that metal pipe is the one that goes underneath the manifold and underneath here to the water pump. So there's this hack where you can reroute it from up here and through here, and then just put another hose here, and you don't have to take off all this stuff. First thing we're doing, taking off the battery, and then taking off the alternator. At this point, we were wondering what to do. Do we tear the whole top of the engine off, buy a new Ford part that could rust again later on, or do we just take some rubber hose and reroute it and do it the easy way, and spend just the afternoon drinking beer and working on cars? So we decided to do the latter half. Of course, who would do that other part? Hack it. It's gonna get a diesel in it anyways. But before we're gonna hack it, we're gonna fire up the smoker and get those ribs on. First thing you do is wash your hands in your soaked hickory wood chips. Well, that's what Jeff does anyways. Get the soot off his hands after he does the charcoal. Once it's up to 250 to 275 degrees, you can throw your ribs on, and usually do this on the side, not directly underneath the flame. Okay, so when you're doing ribs, you're going to do, what Jeff does is 8 briquettes, right?
And then after 15 minutes, throw a couple of handfuls of soaked hickory chips.
So you want to soak your hickory chips for about 30 minutes. And then you throw 8 briquettes on in another half hour.
Another 15 minutes.
Another 15 minutes.
The main point is keep your temperature consistent to what you set it at.
Where's your beer? Where's my beer?
In your tummy. Let's go.
Check them, turn them, throw more wood chips on, go hang out, and repeat that process for about the next 3 hours, or until your internal temperature is about 180 degrees. Now we're back to the Excursion. The belt tensioner located on a V10 engine is going to be right there on the bottom right. You stick a standard socket into it. I highly suggest getting the correct tool for the belt tensioner. If you have too short of a socket, it's really hard. If you have the right tool, you can do it by yourself rather easily.
Okay, so we have, these are metric bolts.
Yep, 10 millimeters.
And why?
Because they're made in trucks made in Canada.
Ford trucks are made in Canada. So to get the alternator out, it's one 10 millimeter bolt on top and 2 on the sides. One, you can see right there. Another one on the other side. Sorry, Jeff. And then this should just lift out magically. Right, Jeff?
Yeah. Just like magnets. There. That's one.
There's 4 bolts. Silly Ford! Alrighty, we have the alternator out. You can see, here's the water pump. Here's the culprit hose. It's metal, and it runs all the way underneath and up to that tube. But as we said before, since this is such a high mileage engine, and I'm planning a 7.3 diesel drop in this thing anyways, we're just gonna hack job it. So we have to somehow hack job this off with this. You know what? Whatever. And then we're gonna reroute a new hose around here and up there. Take that, Ford engineers.
Hey, it's working!
Yeah?
It's
We
working.
have no idea how to get this hose off, but we're thinking tire iron and hammer. Because it's metal,
It's working!
we knew it would work. Is it working now? You might be able to pry it off with a screwdriver now.
Contrary to what we thought at the moment, you can't pry it off with a screwdriver. You have to pretty much saw it off with a little saw. And then bend it and hammer it, and bend it and hammer it.
So there's a video that we checked out online, but he had just a regular hose on here. But this is like the metal hose. So I guess if you unbolted it from the back of the engine,
Yeah.
it would pull off. But since we're too lazy to take all this off, we're just gonna get this off. We're gonna
Oh, I got lots of room. Okay,
We're gonna
back
hacksaw
to the
it.
hammer.
Okay, hammer. Alright, well, we realized before we hammer off everything that we probably need to drain the radiator, otherwise all the radiator fluid will be all over the engine. So this just goes to show, you can see the radiator fluid's like a rust colored. It's not supposed to be that color. So the person who had this before me and the other person before that never paid attention to the radiator. And either did I in the last month, but I just bought it until it was too late. So we're draining the radiator fluid and then we're heading back up and we're gonna pound that metal piece off underneath the manifold, and then we're gonna reroute some hoses and put a big middle finger to Ford engineers and say, "Ha! We fixed it!" Time for a soda pop. What do you have, root beer?
Must be.
Oh, cheers. That's what happens when you hacksaw.
So we still have some of the hose left in there. It looks like kind of a sharp corner. We want to get rid of that because that'll get our new tube and it'll cut a hole in it maybe. So we need to get some heater hose, a little router there. I'm going to route it up around here. Yes, while we're in here, we're doing the thermostat because I don't think it's ever been replaced. What do you think? I don't know. Anyways, we got 170 degree thermostat for Ford Triton V10. So we'll do that, and then we'll do the rest of our hoses. Went to the auto parts store, got 4 feet of hose.
4 feet? That's awesome.
Got our 90 degree angle from the water pump up. We have 4 different holders. We have flush cleaner. I'm going to put this in with all water in the radiator and run it for 4 hours.
What's that?
Then after that happens, we will drain the radiator and put, I have green because it's a 2000, green antifreeze coolant, and we'll mix that with water because that's the concentrated kind. And what is this? Water pump thermostat. Doohickey stuff. Now, the thermostat has rubber seals on it, so that didn't need anything. But we took this gasket maker and we put it just on the outside of the top thing that screws in there. Okay, here's the drain for the radiator, and that is a 19 millimeter. It's plastic. You unscrew it and it just dribbles out the bottom. Put a bucket in, and there's our bucket. This truck isn't lifted though, so we're trying to figure out how to get it out without spilling everything. And I think if I take it over there and turn the wheel to the right, that it'll have enough room to get out. Or we get the jack, or you can just spill some on the driveway. Either way. Little lube should help. Now, we've taken what's left of the pipe in there and we've covered it with just an old tube, just so it doesn't clatter on top of the engine, because I'm not taking it out. I'm just gonna leave it there. It has no use, it's fine. And then now we're just about to put our 90 degree angle on. Alright, after Jeff just told me this wasn't a T, it was an elbow, he was completely correct. And where's my beer? Anyways, this is the empty end is going to go into water pump, and then we're going to reroute our hose on the other end. So this is what it's going to look like, and we did put a little bit of WD-40 in there to slide it on in. Okay, we've just figured out how we're going to route the hose. So there's our 90 degree angle. It's facing up a little bit, and
I usually route my hose in and out.
Oh, well then, we picked the first hole here. You always pick the first hole, Jeff?
Usually.
So we picked the first hole here, and just to get it away from the fuel rail over here, we were going to wrap it around front, but then if it was resting against here, getting your gas hot's never a good idea. So if it's resting against there, I just might or might not be an issue, but I don't want to take the chance. So we're going to wrap it through here, and then it goes straight into there, just perfect. So just angle that up a little bit. Good to go. And here we go. It's just gonna be right there. Dude, that totally looks stock. Good, good enough.
There, over that.
It's good enough. And this is actually a lot thicker than that little rancy-nincy pipe that we used to have down there. So, you know, more flow. It's going to keep the engine cooler. We put a new thermostat in, 170-degree thermostat. Filling this up. And I don't see any more leaks underneath the truck like we did before. There's nothing coming out. So, that definitely was our problem. So this is a $1,000 quote from a guy down the road to fix this, and we have $100 worth of parts, including the radiator flush, the thermostat, and all of our antifreeze. And here we have our shop dog, Kaya. Hi, you having a good time there? You see any leaks? No? You're like, good job, Dad. Good job. Way to go, shop dog. Nice to have you around. Okay, so put the alternator back in after you've got your professional hose installation. Okay, we call this the St. Louis fix. Just a little arch there. Got the alternator back in. Now we're just threading. Oh, it's on. All right, just started her up. Our new water pipe. Checking for leaks. Oh no! Okay, here we are, the day 2 after that fun mishap yesterday of, well, just a bunch of radiator fluid going down. We thought we fixed it, and apparently on the V10s there's this extra little goober that goes right there. Extra little goober, it goes right there, and that comes out, spits out the top of the manifold, and it was actually taking and putting water in our tube down here, and it was still flooding. So we spliced this in to our main line going over the heater hose. Looks totally stock. So now we're going to start it up, and let's see how it runs. Okay, so here's our test. Any leaks? So this should be leak-free. Should be leak-free. Let's test underneath. Seen anything leak underneath? Seeing nothing leak underneath. Well, the Excursion's fixed and the ribs are ready. According to this timeline, they've been cooking for 2 days, but actually they've only been cooking for a few hours. The family's ready to eat. The boys are hungry. We've got a little Baxter's Original barbecue sauce all slathered over these ribs.